Hi, welcome to another explainer video by Advocata Institute. Today I'm going to be talking about international sovereign bonds or ISBs. People make large financial decisions such as buying a house by using a loan. Similarly, governments borrow money to finance their spending needs. One way that they do this is by using bonds. A bond is a financial security that pays an interest. In other words, a loan made by an investor to a borrower. The borrower of a bond promises to pay back the investor a fixed amount of money every year until the expiry term, at which point the borrower pays back the principal amount to the investor. When the government issues such a bond in either a domestic or foreign currency, it is called a sovereign bond. The price of a bond is determined by the free market forces of supply and demand, the term to maturity, and credit quality, which we will get to in a bit. Just like a housing loan, a bond has an interest rate, which is expressed as a percentage of the face value of the bond. The interest rate paid, or sometimes known as the yield, depends on the risk profile of the issuer. The higher the risk of a country, the higher its sovereign bond yield will be. On the other hand, the more financially strong a country is, the greater its credit quality will be. Some of the best known sovereign bonds are the treasuries of the United States, the oaths from France, and the gilts from Britain. In the case of sovereign bonds, the initial loan amount and the final payment will be made in US dollars or some sort of other hard currency. This is what differentiates an ISB from other government issued securities. If an issued bond is denominated in rupees, then the government will always have the luxury of being able to print more rupees to which it can pay its rupee debt back with. However, if it is denominated in a foreign currency, for example the US dollar, then the government cannot do so. It will have to pay back this bond using dollars. So why are we even talking about ISBs? Knowledge of an ISB is crucial to understanding Sri Lanka's debt crisis. When Sri Lanka got upgraded into the status of a middle income country, we lost our access to the traditional forms of foreign financing such as concessionary loans from international agencies and donors significantly. So one of the solutions was to turn to ISBs. Now Sri Lanka's foreign debt composition consists mostly of ISBs, which, unlike concessionary loans, have no grace period, have a short payback period, and higher interest rates. Since 2007, the government has been funding its regular expenditure, pensions, salaries, and even the interest on its debt by using ISBs. As the principal and interest on ISBs have been rolling over, they have snowballed into an amount that we have an extreme difficulty in paying. So there you have it. That's ISBs in a nutshell and its correlation to Sri Lanka. If you like this, you can find more video content on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And if you want any other economics topic explained, you can comment down below. Thank you.